Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today is a day in the category experiments. If you like this kind of stuff, there's a lot of that on my playlist because I always wonder, can I find another really cool effect with acrylic pouring? So if I see something either at home or home appliances or in a shop, I just want to try what it does. And in this case, that's a LOCK De-icer. It was such a cute little bottle and it was inexpensive, so I thought, yeah, why not? I would expect there's some form of alcohol in it, but even if I open this, there's no list of ingredients, only that it's flammable. So it is a bit, let's really see what happens. I want to try it two different ways. One would be like you would do with silicone, so mix it into the paint. I only gonna use 3 paints or 2, don't know yet. Blue, yellow, turquoise. I'm not gonna put it into the white. And the other one I gonna do same thing on flip cup, but I gonna sprinkle it on top, which also always gives cells basically. I also have a video on that with alcohol. You can do really cool effects like that, but I want to do that with this one too. And then yeah, let's see what it does. Simply, it can be very unspectacular, it can be a total mess, you never know. I hope you just like it and stay with me. So these are going to be the ones where I put a few drops or probably 2 drops each into the paint itself, and then it goes into this tiny flip cup. And yeah, in this flip, the paint goes directly in this one, and also going to be a flip cup. I in generally use coasters, really cheap €1 ones from the shop. For experiments, you can reuse and reuse and reuse them, and they're small, so you don't need a lot of paint. So that's a general advice if you're experimenting or still working on a technique that you're not so familiar with. This is really good to use. It is actually a little bit too thick, but can already see it from mixing perspectives. It's a lot of green because yeah, obviously yellow and blue make green, yellow and turquoise also make green, but we're gonna see. Okay, so the paint is really a little bit thick. That's a little bit worrying. But so if I see some effect coming through that looks cool, I will need to experiment some more with the right consistency. I did pre-mix this paint and it was standing there for a while, but normally when it's airtight, that's not a problem at all. So yeah, unfortunately that's the case now, but it's an experiment, so we're gonna see what comes out of it. So an interesting thing you can see here now, a lot of people try to work with lacing and bloom effect and whatever, and often it is assumed that it's kind of magical ingredients. And of course there are ingredients, but at the end, what these ingredients do is change the density. You can see on this one, there is nothing in there yet, but my white is heavier than the other color, so I have already a lot of lacing, lots of cells. Here I have that stuff in there and I'm going to torch it. Like you would with silicone, you would pull up the silicone from the underlaying layers by heating it up. And you do that best when it's still like that, because then when you tilt it, you spread it. Sometimes people that don't get cell also just don't have the right amount of paint, because then when you stretch it, you don't only get ziggy-zaggy, but you also disrupt your cells. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the pour itself is very pretty. I really like it. It looks really soft and all that, but looking from cell perspective, there is not a lot going on. There's some very interesting little lacing going on there, and here are a few cells, and here from the torching, but it's nothing that is completely new, never been there, etc. So here can you already see these little tiny cute cells. Again, pouring looks very easy, but it has to do a lot to do with density, consistency, very, very crucial importance, but also even with things like in which order you layer it. Okay, so let's sprinkle a little. I'm gonna first tilt this one and then sprinkle some on it. Okay, so what you saw me doing with my fingers is basically like a corner catcher. It's called a corner catcher. That only that with a canvas you do it with cardboard. That helps you move paint without just going completely over the edges. If you have a gallery wrapped canvas, that doesn't work so well, but with everything else, it's really a good way to guide the paint at the sides, and you don't lose a lot, and it's also keeping the volume of your paint together. So if you have a very fluid consistency and you do this with alcohol, it really gives you a type of cells on top. Let me just, it can't really, it's always with light. In this case, there's not much to see. If you go really, really close with a lot of imagination, you can see something. So I'm gonna drop it directly on it. If you do this with silicone, and you have to, always assuming you have the right consistency, you get the so-called chameleon cells, but this one doesn't seem to be strong enough. Chameleon cells you normally see very well on dark paint, but there's really nothing here. Okay, the assumption is I really like my coasters, but from experiment perspective, this doesn't do, let's say, anything. These cells that I have there, for me, air bubbles, density related, lacing related, but not product related. And yeah, you see also on top it doesn't do anything, so I guess there is some alcohol in there, but not enough to really have an effect on acrylic pouring. I really like that little bottle. It has a lot of purpose to keep, so that's also already a win-win. And yeah, if you enjoy this type of experiment, have a look around on my channel. And for now, I hope you found it interesting, and I hope to see you back soon.